Let me start by saying this. I don't really care about women. I don't. I don't care about women. I don't care about the gay and lesbian community. I don't care about any minorities other than myself. I really don't care about any of these people. Now, I do not consider myself a feminist, but I will still fight for feminist ideals. I do not consider myself an ally, but I will always still fight for equal protection for all the entire LGBTQ plus community, for all minorities, including my own, the Asians, the Hispanics, everybody, because I believe in equality for everybody. So even though I don't personally care that you are are not being treated fairly because you're a woman, or that you are not being treated fairly because your partner, you are in a gay relationship with two men, two women, whatever it is. Even though I may not personally give a fuck about that, I will always stand up and fight for it, because it is something that I do believe. I truly, strongly believe that inequality for all. It is a necessity. Mostly just because, growing up in America my entire life, it's just, I've seen so much bullshit, and we drastically need to change. It's so fucking ridiculous that there are people being judged, punished, and persecuted for stuff completely beyond their control. We have no say in the matter. We do not get to choose what color skin we are born with. We do not get to choose whether or not we are born with a penis. We do not get to choose who we fall in love with. Okay? We do not get to choose to just fall in love with a man or fall in love with a woman. If we had any say in who we fell in love with, life would be so much fucking simpler for everybody. But we all know that that's just not how love works. And nobody should be punished for the mere fact that you happen to fall in love with somebody who happens to have the same genitalia as you. It's just so fucking ridiculous, and I don't understand how we can continue to stay so far behind. I mean, the world is just, it's the world that we live in, the world that I live in is just, it's not what it should be. There's just too much inequality everywhere, and for me personally, I want equal rights and equal protections for everybody involved, because even though I don't really care about each of these groups individually, I am avidly against discrimination. Because discrimination in any way, shape, or form is just total bullshit. And discrimination is never justifiable. And it's so wrong. I'm tongue-tied right now, I really am. I had this whole speech planned out, and I'm just drawing a blank, but hopefully I've gotten at least my main point across. It's just, I am willing to fight for anybody who is not being treated fairly, who the laws are taking unfortunate advantage of. Because shit like that really shouldn't be happening. Like women in the workplace, minimum wage, you're fine, because if you're working for the bare minimum, guess what? Everyone is treated like shit. Nobody likes it. So at least that part is equal, but especially at higher levels in corporate careers and stuff like that, even in our schools and stuff, you got, women, like at corporate levels in the higher paying jobs, women, I think, was it 78 cents for every dollar that a man makes? Hell, let's look at sports. Because like the WNBA's highest paid athletes are still making like 1 cent for every dollar that some of the NBA's athletes make. And it's just kind of funny that, whether you like sports or not, that is where the biggest inequality is in paychecks. Though, in the first place, I will always argue that men's professional sports are incredibly overpaid anyways. There is no goddamn reason for y'all to be making that much fucking money. I say that as a man who truly loves sports, and it's a part of my daily life. Y'all making too much fucking money. But if you're gonna pay men this much, then why the hell not pay the women that much too? It makes no fucking sense, and it's just, it's so incredibly stupid that when you think about it, there are a lot of straight men in the world, especially in America. There are just so many straight men who refuse to watch like the WNBA and other female professional leagues, specifically because the athletes do not have penises. Just think about that for a second. All of you, all of you straight people, all of you sexist, homophobic straight men who refuse to watch this sport because they do not have penises. Just think about that for a second while you're at it, okay? And just in general, like everyone should be treated fairly and equally. People doing the same job should be paid the same. People, gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, the entire spectrum, everybody on that, they're no different from us straight people. They're not. They're just people who happen to fall in love. That's just, how is that different from you or me? How's that any different? Like I said before, we have no fucking control over it. It's just a thing that happens, and I kind of have some experience. I'm not gonna try to claim that I know just how bad it can be out there, cause the worst I've been through is that I went to just a really shitty high school, and just because of who I am as a person. People just refuse to believe straight black men could actually enjoy listening to Backstreet Boys music and other show tunes like Rent, different Broadway musicals and stuff. And so there are a lot of people who back then and still to this day refuse to believe I'm straight just because of that. But we'll get into labels and stereotypes in another video, but I know in high school there were times where people just refused to believe I was straight, and I've had people who I once considered friends that would then just turn right around and say, hey, no fags allowed in this group, they're excluding me because of something that's not even true. And I know that back then that really hurt to hear that, and from these people that I thought, we were friends and we cared about each other. And so I can only imagine how much pain these other people are feeling when they have their own family members turn on them, who would even cause them physical harm. And it's just total fucking crap. I don't care what fucking excuse you try to use. I don't care what your religion says. I don't care what God told you. There is no reason to hurt people. There is no reason to cause them physical and emotional pain just because you disagree with you disagree with who they are as people. They have no control over it. They have no control over the fact that they're gay, just like you have no control over the fact that you're straight. It's just who they are. It's just who we are as people. And there's no reason why they should be punished for it. Okay? It's just total crap. I've completely lost my train of thought. I might have gone on a few tangents. I'm sorry about that, but hopefully the main message still got across pretty well. Long story short, I hate discrimination in all forms, and no matter who it is, if I feel like somebody is being unfairly persecuted because of reasons beyond their control, then I am always willing to stand up and fight for their right to just be who they are. Because it fucking sucks that we live in a world where there are still so many people, especially so many young kids, that are so afraid to just be themselves, to just be who they are, simply because they're afraid of what the world will do to them. They're afraid of how other people will treat them because of something far beyond their control. And it's just so fucking stupid.